Hello everyone, myself Sonali Tambe, tutor from Department of Pharmacology. Today we are going to discuss your first pharmacology practical, that is oral route of drug administration and its dosage form. In this practical we will see different types of route of drug administration and different types of oral liquid oral dosage form and solid oral dosage form. A route of administration in pharmacology and toxicology is the path by which a drug, fluid, poison, or other substances is taken into the body. Routes of administration are generally classified by the location at which the substance or drug is applied. There are common example of route of drug administrations are oral route of drug administration and intravenous route of drug administration. This is the classification of route of drug administration. Route of drug administrations are classified into two classes. Local route of drug administration, that is topical route of drug administration. Topical means drugs are applied over the skin surface, that is local route of drug administration, and systemic route of drug administration. Systemic route of drug administrations are further divided into two classes: enteral route of drug administration and parenteral route of drug administration. Enteral route of drug administration include oral, sublingual and rectal route of drug administration, whereas parenteral route of drug administration include injection, inhalation and transdermal patches. These are the parenteral route of drug administration. Enteral route of drug administration. So in this practical, we will discuss enteral route of drug administration, that is oral, sublingual and rectal route of drug administration. The possible route of drug entry into the body may be divided into two classes: enteral route of drug administration and parenteral route of drug administration. That means drug can be entered into the body by enteral route or parenteral route. So first we will see what is enteral route, and next practical we will discuss parenteral route of drug administration. Enteral route of drug administration means placement of drug directly into any part of GI tract, that is called as enteral route of drug administration. Enteral route of drug administration means placement of drug directly into any part of GI tract, that is enteral route of drug administration. This enteral route of drug administration includes sublingual route, oral route and rectal route. Sublingual route of drug administration means the drug is kept under the tongue. Then the drug is absorbed through buccal mucosa and then it directly enters into the systemic circulation. That is called as sublingual route of drug administration. Sublingual route of drug administration means drug is kept under the tongue. Drug is placed under the tongue. Oral means swallowing of a drug through mouth. That is oral route of drug administration. Here PO. PO is the short form of oral route of drug administration. Then rectal route of drug administration means absorption through the rectum. Drug is absorbed through rectal. That is rectal route of drug administration. Now we will see different types of enteral route of drug administration and their advantages, disadvantages and examples. First we will see sublingual or buccal route of drug administration. Sublingual route of drug administration means the drug is kept under tongue. What will happen after drug is kept under tongue? The drug is absorbed through buccal mucosa when it is kept under tongue. Then the drug is directly enters into the systemic circulation because it absorbs through buccal mucosa. That means it avoid first pass metabolism. When drug is administered by sublingual route, it rapidly absorbed by buccal mucosa and it directly enters into the systemic circulation. That is a sublingual route of drug administration. Some drugs are taken as smaller tablet which are held in the mouth or under the tongue. That is sublingual or buccal route of drug administration. Then advantages of sublingual route of drug administration. Their first advantage is rapid absorption of drug. When drug is administered by sublingual route, it is rapidly absorbed by buccal mucosa. That's why are given by those drugs are administered by sublingual route. They have quick onset of action because there is rapid absorption of drug through buccal mucosa, right? Then second advantage is self administration is possible. Then third one is it avoid first pass metabolism. What do you mean by first pass metabolism? First pass metabolism means this first pass metabolism means when drug is administered by oral route, it goes into the GI tract. Then it will deliver to the liver through portal vein, and then it will reach into the systemic circulation. But before reach into the systemic circulation, certain drug get metabolized in liver. That means it directly affect the viability of drug. Means those drug having higher first pass effect, they have less viability. So here when drug is administered by sublingual route, it avoid first pass effect. Then fourth advantage is the action of drug can be terminated by spitting out the tablet. So these are the advantages of sublingual route of drug administration. Rapid absorption of drug and quick, that's why there is quick onset of action of drug when drug is administered by sublingual route. Self administration is possible through sublingual route. Then it had avoid first pass effect, and action of drug can be terminated by spitting out the tablets. So these are the advantages of sublingual route of drug administration. Then disadvantages of sublingual route of drug administration. First disadvantage is irritant drug cannot be given by sublingual route. Means those drugs are irritant. We cannot given by sublingual route. Irritant drug cannot be given by sublingual route. Then small doses of drug can be administered by sublingual route. We cannot administer larger dose of drug. Then those drug having unpleasant taste, we cannot administer by sublingual route. So these are the disadvantages of sublingual route of drug administration. Irritant drug cannot be given by sublingual route. We can administer only small dose of drug by sublingual route, and unpleasant taste of drug cannot be administered by those drug having unpleasant taste. We cannot administer by sublingual route. Then examples of sublingual route of drug administrations are nitroglycerin, isoprenaline and clonidine. So these drugs are administered by sublingual route. Then oral route of drug administration. Oral route of drug administration means swallowing a drug through mouth, that is oral route. Then advantages of oral route of drug administration. First advantage is it is convenient for repeated and prolonged therapy. Oral route of administration is convenient for repeated and prolonged therapy. For example, in hypertensive patient, they generally require long term therapy. So for that patient, we will prefer oral route because it is convenient for repeated and prolonged therapy. So this is the advantage of oral route of drug administration. Then oral route is safer and painless. Then drug can be administered. Drug can be self-administered. No assistance is needed. It is a cheap as compared to other parenteral route of drug administration. So these are the advantages of oral route of administration. Oral route is convenient for repeated and prolonged therapy. For example, in hypertensive patient, it is safer and painless. Self administration can be possible. No assistance is needed. It is cheaper as compared to other parenteral route of drug administration. Then disadvantages of oral route of drug administration. First disadvantage is first pass effect. first pass means those drugs having high first pass effect we cannot administer by oral route. For example, morphine and isoprenaline, they have high first pass effect, means they have less viability. First pass effect directly affect on the viability. That's why this morphine and isoprenaline like drug we cannot administer by oral route. Those drugs having high first pass effect we cannot administer by oral route. Then highly irritant drug cannot be administered by oral route because they can cause irritation to gastric mucosa. That's why we avoid irritant drug. Okay, highly irritant drug cannot be administered by oral route. Then those drugs are destroyed by gastric acid or digestive juice. They cannot administer by oral route. For example, penicillin and insulin. Generally, they are administered by parenteral route because they are destroyed by gastric acids. Okay. Then this oral route is not suitable for emergency condition because onset of action is very slow. That's why it is not preferred in emergency conditions. Then next disadvantage is those drugs having unpleasant taste we cannot administer by oral route, right? And last disadvantage is it is unable to, this oral route of drug administration is unable to use in unconscious patient. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of oral route of drug administration. Those drugs having high first pass effect cannot administer by oral route. Highly irritant drug cannot be administered by oral route. Those drugs are destroyed by gastric acid cannot be administered by oral route. It is not suitable for emergency condition because of slow onset of action. Those drugs having unpleasant taste of those drugs having unpleasant taste cannot be administered by oral route and it is not suitable for unconscious patient. So these are the disadvantages of oral route of drug administration. Then rectal route of drug administration. That means absorption of drug through rectum. That is rectal route of drug administration. Then advantages of rectal route of drug administration. This rectal route of drug administration is useful for unconscious patient and children. Okay. Then second advantage is it is useful for patient having nausea and vomiting. Those patient having nausea and vomiting, it is useful in that patient. Then it is useful for gastric irritant drug and unpleasant taste. Those drugs are highly irritant or having unpleasant taste. They are administered by rectal route. Okay. Then it is useful for patient having GI diseases. Those patient having gastrointestinal diseases, they are in that patient we will prefer rectal route of drug administration. Then first pass metabolism is less in rectal route of drug administration because major portion of drug is absorbed from external hemorrhoidal vein. That's why this is the advantage of rectal route of drug administration. It avoid first pass effect, means it increase the viability of drug. Examples are diazepam in febrile convulsion in children. Okay, diazepam, it is a sedative hypnotic drug. It is used in febrile convulsions in children. Then endomethacin for rheumatoid arthritis and ergotamine. So these are the examples of rectal route of drug administration. Diazepam, it is used in febrile convulsion in children. And then endomethacin, it is useful for rheumatoid arthritis, and ergotamine, it is a ergot alkaloid. So these drugs diazepam, endomethacin and ergotamine, these drugs are administered by rectal route. Then disadvantages of rectal route of drug administration. First disadvantage is there is the chances of rectal inflammation because some drugs can cause inflammation in rectum. Then second disadvantage is absorption of drug is unreliable. So these are the two disadvantages of rectal route of drug administration. There is the chances of rectal inflammation and absorption of drug is unreliable. Now coming towards dosage form of a drug. First, we will see the definition of dosage form. What is dosage form? Dosage form means it is a form in which the drug or formulation can be administered to the patient. That is dosage form. It is a form in which the drug or formulation can be administered to the patient. For example, tablet form of a drug, capsule form of a drug, injection, oral liquid. These are the different types of dosage forms. So in that form, these are the different types of dosage form in which drug is administered to the patient. Then definition of formulation. What do you mean by formulation? It is a recipe by which a drug is prepared. What is formulation? It is a recipe by which a drug is prepared. It contains a list of active ingredient, that is drug, and other substances like excipient, vehicle, flavoring agent, preservative, with the amount contained therein. What do you mean by formulation? It is a recipe by which drug is prepared and it contains active ingredient, that is drug. It also contains excipient, vehicle, flavoring agent and some preservative. Then what do you mean by excipient? Excipient, it is a pharmacologically inert substance, okay, which are added to the pharmaceutical preparation either to add bulk to the active drug or to mask the unpleasant taste of drug. Examples are lactose, calcium lactate and starch. These are the excipient, okay. What do you mean by excipient? Excipient, it is a pharmacologically inert substance which are added into the pharmaceutical preparation to mask the unpleasant taste of drug. That is excipient. Examples are lactose, calcium lactate and starch. Then classification of enteral dosage form. Enteral dosage forms are classified into two classes: oral dosage forms and rectal dosage form. Rectal dosage form include enemas and suppository. Enemas means administration of drug into the rectum in a liquid form, that is enema, and suppository means administration of a drug in a solid form into the rectum, that is suppositories. Then oral dosage form. Oral dosage forms are further divided into two classes: solid oral dosage form and liquid oral dosage form. Solid oral dosage forms are tablets, capsules and powders. And liquid oral dosage forms are mixture, syrup, elixir and linctus. So this is the classification of enteral dosage form. Enteral dosage forms are classified into two classes: oral dosage form and rectal dosage form. Oral dosage forms are further divided into two classes: solid oral dosage form and liquid oral dosage form. Solid oral dosage forms are tablet, capsules and powder. Liquid oral dosage forms are mixture, syrup, elixir and linctus. And rectal dosage forms are enemas and suppositories. Now we will see different types of solid oral dosage form. Tablet. Tablet, it is a solid oral dosage form. It consists of active ingredient, that is drug, with suitable pharmaceutical excipient. Okay, what is tablet? Tablet, it is a solid oral dosage form. It consists of active ingredient with suitable excipient. They have different size, different shape, weight, hardness, thickness, different disintegration time and dissolution time, right? Tablet, it is a solid oral dosage form. There are different types of tablet: uncoated tablet, coated tablet, sugar coated tablet, film coated tablet, entry coated tablet, sustained release tablet, effervescent tablet, dispersible tablet, sublingual tablet, chewable tablet, lozenge, mouth dissolving tablets. So these are the different types of tablet. We will see one by one what is uncoated, what is coated tablets with their examples. Now first one, uncoated tablet. The uncoated tablet are made in such a way that the release of active ingredient is unmodified. Okay, what is uncoated tablet? The uncoated tablet are made in such a way that the release of active ingredient is unmodified, and coated tablets are covered with one or more layer of substances such as resins, polymers, gums, fillers, sugar, coloring and flavoring agent. That is coated tablet. There are different types of coated tablets: sugar coated tablet, enteric coated tablet, sustained release tablet. These are the examples of coated tablet. First we will see what is sugar coated tablet. This sugar coated tablet contain sugar containing sugar coating, which helps to cover up any disagreeable taste and protect the drug which are sensitive to oxidation. Okay, sugar coated tablets are covered with sugar coating, and this sugar coating masks the unpleasant taste of drug and protect the drug which are sensitive to oxidation. For example, chloroquine tablet. Chloroquine tablet has bitter taste, so it is covered with sugar coating. Then enteric coated tablet. These enteric coated tablets are coated with enteric coating. This enteric coating resists dissolution of drug in the stomach by gastric acid, but it does not resist the dissolution of drug in intestine. Okay, this enteric coating is used for drugs which are destroyed or inactivated in stomach or for gastric irritant drug. Okay, this enteric coating prevent the degradation of drug in stomach by gastric acid. Okay, so this enteric coated tablet should be swallowed whole with glass full of water without breaking it. Example is pantoprazole. What is enteric coated tablet? Enteric coated tablets are coated with enteric coating. This enteric coating prevent degradation of drug by gastric acid in stomach. So this will prevent the degradation of this enteric coating prevent degradation of drug in stomach by gastric acid. Example is pantoprazole. Then sustained release tablet. It is also called as extended or prolonged release tablet. It consists of small granules of drug which are coated with special coating and compressed in a form of tablet. What is sustained release tablet? Sustained release tablet, it is coated with special coating and it consists of small granules of drug. This special coating will dissolve at different time of interval. That's why these tablets have longer duration of action. Okay, sustained release tablets have longer duration of action, thus reduce the frequency of administration and improve patient compliance. Sustained release tablet should be swallowed whole with glass full of water without breaking it. Example is diclofenac sodium. Diclofenac sodium, it is available in the form of sustained release tablet. Okay, sustained release tablet is slowly dissolved at different time of intervals, so that's why it will increase the duration of action of drug, and this will reduce frequency of drug administration and improve patient compliance. Then dispersible tablet. Dispersible tablets are intended to be dispersed in water before their administration. They get easily dispersed. That's why dispersible tablets should be dissolved in water before their administration. It has sweet in taste, so it is generally used in pediatric patient. Generally prefer in pediatric patient. Then how will you administer dispersible tablet? First, you have to take for one dose of dispersible tablet, you have to take 10 ml of water and then put the tablet into the water and stir gently so that the active substance can be better dispersed before the suspension is drunk. Then stir gently and administer immediately to the patient. Then pour some more water. Approximately put 10 ml of water into the glass and give immediately to the patient. Example is amoxicillin dispersible tablet. Okay, amoxicillin, it is a example of dispersible tablet generally prefer in pediatric patients. Then effervescent tablet. Effervescent tablet contain acid substances and carbonate. So here In case of effervescent tablet, there is the chemical reaction between acid substances and carbonate in presence of water, which release carbon dioxide. That's why these effervescent tablets are rapidly disintegrate into the water, because there is release of carbon dioxide in presence of water. And this effervescent masks the bad taste of drug. Then how will you administer effervescent tablet? The administration of effervescent tablet similar like dispersible tablet. First, you have to take 10 ml of water, then put the tablet into the water, stir gently and immediately administer to the patient. So here administration of effervescent tablet similar like dispersible tablet. You have to dissolve the tablet into the water and then administer to the patient. Example is aspirin tablet is the example of effervescent tablet. What is effervescent tablet? Effervescent tablet contain acid substances and carbonate. There is the chemical reaction between acid substances and carbonate in presence of water, which release carbon dioxide. That's why they are rapidly disintegrate into the water. Example is aspirin tablet, and administration of effervescent tablet similar like dispersible tablet. Then sublingual or buccal tablets. Sublingual tablets are placed below the tongue. Okay. Sublingual tablet means these tablets are kept under the tongue. After that, the drug is rapidly absorbed by buccal mucosa and it directly enters into the systemic circulation. Means this sublingual tablet avoid first pass metabolism. Example is nitroglycerin sublingual tablet. There are so many examples of sublingual tablet. Isoprenaline, clonidine. They are also available in the form of sublingual tablets. Then second is chewable tablet. Chewable tablets are intended to be chewed before swallowing. This chewable tablet provide quick and complete disintegration of tablet. This will gives rapid effect. Examples are antacid, antihelminthics and vitamin C tablet. These are the chewable tablets. Then mouth dissolving tablet. It is also known as orally disintegrating tablet. It is a solid oral dosage form. It is a new generation of formulation. These mouth dissolving tablets are rapidly disintegrate in the mouth within a minute in presence of saliva. Okay, these tablets are rapidly dissolved or rapidly disintegrate in the mouth within a minute in presence of saliva. So these mouth dissolving tablets are generally preferred in pediatric and geriatric population or in those patients who have difficulty in swallowing. Okay, so these mouth dissolving tablets are rapidly disintegrate in the mouth. Then next one is lozenges. Lozenges, it contain active ingredient with flavoring agent. These lozenges are designed to dissolve slowly in the mouth and release the drug topically to the tissue of mouth and throat. Lozenges are commonly used for sore throat and cough. For example, have you heard about Strepsil? Strepsil, Halls. These are the examples of lozenges. It contains dextromethorphan. Okay. This dextromethorphan, it is an active ingredient. It is a cough lozenges. Okay. It is commonly used for sore throat or cough. Then capsules. Capsules are the another solid oral dosage form. There are different types of capsules: hard shell gelatin capsule and soft shell gelatin capsule. Capsules have hard shell or soft shell, which is made up of gelatin. Here you can see the different types of capsule: hard shell gelatin capsule and soft shell gelatin capsules. Capsules are solid oral dosage form with hard or soft shell, which is made up of gelatin. This gelatin is obtained by hydrolysis of collagen, which is derived from animals. The shell disintegrate in presence of digestive fluid and contents are released. Okay, the shell of capsule, which is disintegrate in presence of digestive fluid in the stomach. The content of capsule may be solid, liquid or paste. Okay, so this hard shell gelatin capsule or soft shell gelatin capsule, they either contain solid form of drug or liquid form of a drug. Capsules are tasteless and easily administered. That there are different categories of capsule: hard shell gelatin capsule, soft capsule, and modified release capsules. Then what is soft gelatin capsule and what is hard gelatin capsule? What is the difference between soft gelatin capsule and hard gelatin capsule? Soft gelatin capsule, the shell of soft gelatin capsule manufactured in one piece. It contains liquid form of a drug inside the shell. Example is vitamin E and nifedipine. They are available in the form of soft gelatin capsules. Okay, vitamin E capsules and nifedipine, that is procardia. Then what is hard shell capsules? Hard shell, the hard shell of hard gelatin capsule manufactured in two pieces that fit together and hold the drug either in powder form or in a granular form. What is soft gelatin capsule? Soft gelatin capsule is a one-piece capsule. It contains liquid form of a drug inside the shell. And hard gelatin capsule, it is a two-piece capsule that fit together and hold the drug either in the form of powder or in the form of granules. Hard capsule. Hard capsule have two cylindrical sections that fit together. And hard shell gelatin capsule usually contain powder form of drug or granules. Example is capsule amoxicillin. It is available in the form of hard gelatin capsule. Then soft shell gelatin capsule. It is a thicker, soft and one-piece gelatin shell. It usually contains solution or suspension of active ingredient. Example is vitamin E soft shell gelatin capsule. Then modified release capsule. This modified release capsule designed to modify the rate, place or time of release of active ingredient in GIT tract. There are two types of modified release capsule: entry capsule and sustained release or extended release capsule. Entry capsules are covered with enteric coating. This enteric coating prevent degradation of drug in stomach by gastric fluid. Example is omeprazole capsule. Omeprazole drug is available in the form of enteric capsule. This will prevent degradation of omeprazole drug in stomach by gastric acid. Then sustained release or extended release capsule. It is also called as spansules. These sustained release tablets are coated with special coating. This will dissolve at different time of interval. That's why these capsules have longer duration of action. Means these capsules are slowly released, slowly disintegrate in the stomach. They have, that's why these sustained release capsules have longer duration of action. Then another solid oral dosage form is powder. There are different types of powder: simple powder and compound powder. Simple powder contain single constituent, whereas compound powder containing more than one constituent. For example, ORS powder. ORS powder contain different types of active ingredient. ORS powder contain sodium chloride, then glucose, then sodium citrate. So these are the active ingredient in ORS powder. It is an example of compound powder. Now coming towards liquid oral dosage form. There are different types of liquid oral dosage form. We will see one by one. First liquid oral dosage form is aqua or aromatic water. This aromatic water, it is a weak simple solution of volatile substance in a water. Example is camphor water, which is frequently prescribed in eye drops. Another example of aromatic water is rose water. Okay, aqua or aromatic water, it is a weak simple solution of volatile substance in a water. Then syrup, it is another liquid oral dosage form. Syrup, it is a saturated solution of sugar. It contains 66% of sucrose in water. Okay. Syrup contain a drug in a concentrated solution of sugar and flavoring agent. Example is paracetamol syrup. What is syrup? Syrup, it is a liquid oral dosage form. It is a concentrated solution of sugar with flavoring agent. It contains active ingredient. Example is paracetamol. It contains about 66% of sucrose in water. Then oxymel. Oxymel, it is a mixture of honey with dilute acetic acid, generally used in cough. Then decoction. Decoction, it is prepared by boiling a vegetable substance in a water, or medicinal plant leaves. It is prepared by boiling a medicinal plant leaves in a water. For example is green tea. Green tea is the example of decoction. These are the liquid oral dosage form. Then elixir, tincture and spirit. These are the liquid oral dosage form. Elixir, tincture and spirit are the alcoholic solution. Then what is the difference between elixir, tincture and spirit? There is the only one difference. They have different percentage of alcohol. Elixir, it is a sweetened and flavoring alcoholic solution which contain not more than 20% of alcohol. It is a mixture of alcohol, sugar and flavoring agent. Elixir is commonly used for pediatric patient and elderly patient who have difficulty in swallowing tablets and capsule. Example is bromhexin elixir. It is a cough elixir generally preferred in pediatric and elderly patient who have difficulty in swallowing tablet and capsules. Okay, elixir, it is an alcoholic solution. It contains not more than 20% of alcohol. It is a mixture of alcohol, sugar and flavoring agent. Example is bromhexin elixir. Then tincture. Tincture is a alcoholic solution of non-volatile substance. It contains 70 to 90% of alcohol. There are different types of examples of tincture: tincture benzoin, tincture belladonna, tincture iodine. These are the many tinctures are used as a flavoring agent. Okay, tincture, it is an alcoholic solution of non-volatile substance. It contains 70 to 90% of alcohol. Then spirit. Spirit, it is an alcoholic or hydroalcoholic solution of volatile substances. It contains 70% of alcohol and 30% of water. Example is peppermint spirit. So these are the liquid oral dosage form: elixir, tincture, sphincter, spirit. All are liquid oral dosage form. All are alcoholic solution, only the percentage of alcohol is different. Elixir contain not more than 20% of alcohol. Tincture contain 70 to 90% of alcohol. Spirit contains 70% of alcohol. Then another liquid oral dosage forms are fluid extract, dry extract and linctus. Fluid extract, it is a liquid alcoholic preparation of definitive strength which is made by percolation and concentration. 1 ml contain 1 gram of substance. Fluid extract, it is a liquid alcoholic preparation which is made by percolation and it contain concentration of 1 ml contain 1 gram of substance. Then dry extract, which is prepared by evaporating the solvent of fluid extract. Example is belladonna extract and cascara surgata extract, which is useful in constipation. Used in constipation. Then linctus. Linctus, it is a viscous liquid for exerting local action on the mucous membrane of the throat. Example is linctus codeine. What is linctus? It is a viscous liquid which exert local action on the mucous membrane of throat. Then another liquid oral dosage form is mixture. There are different types of mixture: solution, suspension and emulsion. There are three types of mixtures: solution, suspension, emulsion. We will see one by one. What is solution, what is suspension, what is emulsion, and their examples. Solution is a liquid oral dosage form. It is a homogeneous mixture which is prepared by dissolving one or more solute in solvent. Example is ORS. It is a simple solution containing soluble solids, okay, which is prepared by dissolving more than one solute in solvent. ORS is the example of solution. But some solution containing insoluble solid made soluble with the help of other substances. Example is Lugol's iodine. It is a mixture of iodine in potassium iodide. Okay. So solution, it is a liquid oral dosage form which is prepared by dissolving one or more solute in solvent. Example is ORS solution and Lugol's iodine. Then suspension is the another liquid oral dosage form. It is a liquid medicament containing insoluble substances which are homogeneously distributed throughout the vehicle with or without the help of suspending agent. Suspension, it is a liquid medicament containing insoluble substance which are homogeneously distributed throughout the vehicle. Example is paracetamol is the example of suspension. Then emulsion. Emulsion is a liquid oral dosage form. It is a mixture of two immiscible liquid. One liquid which is finely divided into small globules and dispersed into the other liquid with the help of emulsifying agent. What is emulsion? Emulsion, it is a mixture of two immiscible liquid. One liquid which is finely divided into small globules and dispersed into the other liquid with the help of emulsifying agent. What is the role of emulsifying agent? It helps to hold two immiscible liquid together. There are three main components in emulsion: continuous phase, dispersed phase and emulsifying agent. Emulsifying agent helps to keep two immiscible liquid together. There are different types of emulsifying agent: gums, soaps, proteins, carbohydrate and synthetic agent. Then disperse phase. In disperse phase, one liquid that is broken in fine globules. And in continuous phase, another liquid that surround the globules of liquid in disperse phase. Examples are milk and egg yolk. These are the naturally occurring emulsion. Here milk. Milk is the example of emulsion. It is a mixture of oil and water. Okay. And what is the emulsifying agent in milk? Casein. Casein, it is a protein which is the emulsifying agent in a milk. There are two types of emulsion: oil in water and water in oil. Milk is the example of oil in water. Oil as a dispersed phase and water as a continuous phase. Example is liquid paraffin emulsion. Then second type is water in oil, in which water as a dispersed phase and oil as a continuous phase. Cold cream is the example of water in oil emulsion. Now coming towards exercise. Exercise number 1 is list the pharmaceutical factors that influence the absorption of drug given by the oral route. You have already studied factors which are affect on absorption of drug when given by oral route in your theory lecture, right? So there are a number of factors which affect absorption of drug when drug is given by oral route. First factor is physical state, then drug solubility, particle size, disintegration time, dissolution time, pH and ionization. So these are the factors, pharmaceutical factors that affect absorption of drug when drug is given by oral route. But how this factor will affect absorption of drug when drug is given by oral route? First factor is physical state. In physical state, if the drug is in the form of liquid, then and then which one is better absorbed, liquid form of drug or solid form of drug? Liquid form of drug is better absorbed than solid form of drug because of rapid dissolution time. Then crystalline form of drug or amorphous form of drug. Which one is better absorbed? Amorphous form of drug is better absorbed than crystalline form because of rapid disintegration time, right? Then drug solubility. Lipid soluble drugs are better absorbed than water soluble drug. Then particle size. Some drug have smaller particle size like aspirin, digoxin, risofulvin. They are readily absorbed than larger particle size of drug like antihelminthics. Then disintegration time and dissolution time. How it will affect absorption of drug. First, what is disintegration time and what is dissolution time? Disintegration time is it is the time taken for the formulation or drug to break up into small particle, that is disintegration time. And dissolution time is it is the time taken for the particle to go into the solution, that is dissolution time. Okay, if the drug has shorter dissolution time and if the disintegration time is very fast, then there is rapid absorption of drug. Okay, then formulation formulation we know that the definition of formulation, it contain active ingredient with excipient. Okay, excipient, it is a pharmacologically inert substance like lactose, starch, calcium sulfate, gums. They are inert substance. Okay, they are added to formulation as a binding agent. They are not totally inert. They can affect absorption of drug. For example, milk can affect absorption of tetracycline. Then pH and ionization, how it will affect absorption of drug. if the if the drug is weakly acidic, if the drug is weakly acidic, it remains non-ionized in acidic medium so that it is readily absorbed in acidic medium, right? If the drug is weakly basic, it remains non-ionized in basic medium, therefore it is readily absorbed in basic medium. If the drug is strongly acidic and strongly basic, then it remains ionized at all pH. Therefore, it is poorly absorbed. Okay. What is the pH of stomach? pH of stomach is acidic and pH of intestine is basic. So, acidic drugs are better absorbed in stomach and basic drugs are better absorbed in intestine. So these are the pharmaceutical factors that affect absorption of drug. Then exercise number 2. State the advantages and disadvantages of oral drug delivery system. We have already seen advantages and disadvantages of oral route of drug administration in previous slides. So here we can see the advantages and disadvantages of oral route of drug administration. Advantages of oral route of drug administrations are it is convenient and cheaper, no assistance is needed, sterilization not needed, it is suitable for long-term therapy, self-medication is possible, it is safer and painless. In case of poisoning, unabsorbed drug can be removed by gastric lavage. So these are the advantages of oral route of drug administration. Then coming towards disadvantages of oral route of drug administration. Absorption of some drug is irregular when it is given by oral route. When they are given by oral route, absorption of some drug is irregular. Then polar drug cannot be absorbed. For example, streptomycin, it is a polar drug. It cannot be absorbed. Then those drugs are destroyed by gastric juice. They cannot be given by oral route. For example, penicillin and insulin. These drugs are destroyed by gastric acid. That's why we cannot given by oral route. They are always given by parenteral route. Then drug with high first pass effect cannot be given by oral route. For example, morphine, isoprenaline and testosterone. These are the drug which undergoes high first pass. They have high first pass effect. That's why we cannot given by oral route. Then it cannot be used in presence of vomiting and unconscious and uncooperative patient. This oral drug delivery system cannot be used in presence of if the patient having vomiting, if the patient is unconscious and uncooperative. Then we cannot prefer oral route of oral drug delivery system. Then the onset of action is delayed. hence not useful in case of emergency. It is not useful in emergency condition because of onset of action of drug is very slow. Then highly irritant drug cannot be given by oral route. So these are the disadvantages of oral route of oral route of drug administration. Then third exercise, compare and contrast liquid and solid oral dosage form. There is a difference between liquid dosage form and solid dosage form. Liquid dosage forms have quick onset of action. They don't require disintegration time. Okay. It is suitable for children, older patient and patient who cannot swallow solid dosage form like tablets. Okay. Then palatability of liquid dosage form is more as compared to solid dosage form because of pleasant taste. Accuracy of dose is variable with liquid dosage form. It is difficult to carry and short shelf life once it is open. So this is about liquid dosage form. Then solid dosage form. The onset of action of drug, if the drug is in the form of solid, then the onset of drug is decided by their disintegration and dissolution rate, right? Then difficulty in swallowing in children. Liquid dosage form we cannot prefer in children because there is a difficulty in swallowing. To make palatable, few tablets are coated with different coating because of unpleasant taste. Palatability is less with solid dosage form because of unpleasant taste. Accuracy is strictly maintained with solid dosage form. It is portable and compact, long shelf life as compared to liquid dosage form. So this is the answer for exercise number 3. Liquid dosage form and solid dosage forms. Then exercise number 4. When would you use the rectal route and what are its characteristics? Explain with neat and label diagram and absorption of drug through rectal route. So here you have to write characteristics and uses of rectal route of drug administration. Already we have discussed what are the characteristics, what are the advantages and disadvantages of rectal route of drug administration and where it is preferred, where rectal route of drug administration is preferred. Here, what are the characteristics and uses of rectal route of drug administration? First one is if the patient having recurrent vomiting, in that case we will prefer rectal route. When we require local action of drug in rectum, like for example enema, in that case we will prefer rectal route. Rectal route of drug administration is useful when patient having GI diseases, gastrointestinal diseases. Then what is the characteristics of rectal route of drug administration? Okay, it avoid first pass metabolism because major portion of drug is absorbed from external hemorrhoidal vein. Okay, so this is the main characteristics of rectal route of drug administration. This rectal route of drug administration is useful for irritant drug and unpleasant taste of drug. Okay, if the drug is irritant or having unpleasant taste, in that cases we will prefer rectal route of drug administration. Examples are diazepam. Diazepam is used in status epilepticus or febrile convulsion in children. Then endomethacin and ergotamine. These are the examples of rectal route of drug administration. Okay, where it is useful if the patient having recurrent vomiting, if we require local action of drug in rectum, and if the patient having gastrointestinal diseases, in that cases we will prefer rectal route of drug administration. And what is its characteristics? It avoid first pass metabolism because of major portion of drug is absorbed from external hemorrhoidal vein. Examples are diazepam, endomethacin and ergotamine. This is the diagram of rectal route of drug administration. We know that rectum has rich blood supply and the drug can cross the rectal mucosa like other lipid membrane. Thus, unionized and lipid soluble drugs are better absorbed, readily absorbed through the rectum. The portion absorbed from upper rectal mucosa is carried by superior hemorrhoidal vein into the portal circulation, whereas whereas that absorbed from the lower rectum enters directly into the systemic circulation via middle and inferior hemorrhoidal veins. Thus, approximately 50% of drug absorbed by the rectum bypass the liver. Okay, so this rectal route of drug administration avoid first pass metabolism because approximately 50% of drug is absorbed by the rectum bypass the liver. Then exercise number 5, what is the importance of expiry date on the label with one example. Expiry date on the label is very important because outdated drug can cause adverse effect, severe adverse effect to the patient, or drug can lose their potency immediately after expiry date. Hence, for example, outdated tetracycline, it can cause renal damage, that is a Fanconi syndrome, which is caused by outdated tetracycline. Okay, so hence it is mandatory to dispense the drug within their expiry date. Now the answer is expiry date generally indicates the time beyond which the drug may not have the required potency. For example, adrenaline has been found to lose potency few months after the expiry date of 1 year. Then next example is nitrate. Nitrate can lose their potency immediately after their expiry date. Development of undesirable effect may be observed in few instances. For example, consumption of outdated tetracycline may cause renal damage, that is a Fanconi syndrome. Hence, it is mandatory to dispense the drug within their expiry date. So, this is the answer for exercise number 5. Then exercise number 6. Observe the different oral dosage form displayed, identify them and comment on the special instructions if any given on the label. So for this exercise, I will show you some pictures of solid oral dosage form and liquid oral dosage form. You have to identify the solid oral dosage form and liquid oral dosage form. Then you have to write the name of the drug and the instructions. Whatever instructions are given on the label, you have to just write down in your remark. Now I will show you some pictures of solid oral dosage form and liquid oral dosage forms. This is a hard gelatin capsule, doxycycline. Doxycycline is available in the form of hard gelatin capsule. This is a amoxicillin capsule. It is another example of hard gelatin capsule. This is a film coated tablet of metronidazole. This is a vitamin E capsule. It is a soft gelatin capsule. This is a paracetamol suspension. This is a liquid paraffin emulsion. This is a sustained release tablet of diclofenac sodium. This is a clindamycin and cotrimoxazole vaginal soft gelatin suppository. It is used topically. This is a vitamin C chewable tablet. This is a neosporin powder. It is a mixture of neomycin and polymyxin B. This is a Tuscury. It is an example of lozenge. It contains dextromethorphan. This is an entry-coated tablet of pantoprazole. Thank you.